Hello, everyone. My name is Tom Petrillo. I'm one of Tony's top coaches, and I'm excited and honored to be here with you today. Today's workshop is one that I am particularly passionate about because it's led to so many breakthroughs in my life, helping me go further, faster, and what's most important to me. And it's going to do the same thing for you too. It's all up to you today. We're going to give you all the gold that we can. But before we do anything, we always what? We get ourselves in peak state first. Why? Because we get better answers. We ask better questions. We come up with better results. So get on your feet if you can. Get ready to do some jumping up and down. We're going to drop in some celebration music. Get ready. On a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Get into peak state. Here we go. Today, right? Play full out. Sit or stand in a strong posture. Actively take notes as if you're going to be teaching this, because we're wired for this stuff. We want to share what we learn with other people. Drop your feedback into the chat. I'm watching you now. You're lighting up the chat. Oh my gosh, we got Massachusetts, Georgia, Florida. I saw somebody over in the UK. Keep it up, folks. I see San Diego. You got people from all over the country, all over the world. Keep it up. Well, today is all about changing your life. Today is about breaking through to something that maybe you've wanted to do for a long time and you just haven't done it. So I know you didn't come here to dabble. And quite frankly, we don't understand dabble very well here at RRI. So keep yourself in a peak state. Be alert to what we're talking about. Participate. Drop things into the chat so you could take things to the next level. Do you all have your worksheets in front of you? If not, Team Tony's going to drop it in the chat so you can do that. Also, did you all get a chance to check out the Chosen Family audio from Tony and Sage? If you didn't have a chance, we're going to make sure that you have a link to that as well, or you could just go to our Facebook page. So during that audio, Tony spoke about the power of relationships and connection. He said, these are some of the most fulfilling things in our life. And he asked a great question. He said, who needs love and connection now? Who in your life needs love and connection? Think about what we've gone through in the last 2 years in the world. Shutdowns. Some places shut down longer than others. Think about those people needing that connection, needing to have an exchange of some value between you and them. It's about the joy of life. Tony also talks about the stimulation that causes inspiration through connection. As you can imagine, Tony's very selective about who he allows in his chosen family. I am too, but with all honesty, I wasn't always that way. It doesn't mean that I don't spend time with people that don't have the same ambitious goals as me. It just means I'm very conscious as to how much time I am spending with those folks. Because I am very ambitious. I want to make sure I'm spending that time with people that have similar ambitions. You want to write this down right now. You've heard this before, but it's very powerful. Proximity is power, one of Tony's great quotes. And what he's talking about is proximity to the right people. We all have proximity to other people, but to the right people where you can have a powerful exchange of value with each other to lift each other's life, propel you to the next level. As you can imagine, Tony has spent his life, as he said it, actually, he said he's been obsessed. I was just listening to The Ultimate Edge this morning. He said, I've been obsessed my whole life since age 16 to find the people that have the strategies, have the mindset, have the skill sets, the abilities to do the things that he's passionate about in his life. And by doing that, he's earning access to them and he's compacting their lifetime of learnings into very short periods of time, allowing him to go faster and further. And we all get the benefit of that today in this workshop. Who's up for going faster, further? Drop it in the chat. Who's up for learning from someone's 10, 20, 30 years of experience so you don't have to go through the same trials and tribulations? right? You get to take that shortcut to success as well. Come on, drop it in the chat. I'm looking for you to light it up. I can see her doing it. Say, I'm ready, Tom, let's go. Come on, let me see it in there. Great, you guys are doing fantastic. Well, I've been blessed with a beautiful biological family, and I'm grateful for each of them. And here's the truth, though. I'm just going to tell you, I'm a bit of an oddity to them. When I explain to them that I spend an hour and 15 minutes, 20 minutes every single morning, weekends, vacation times, holidays, prepping myself to have the best day I possibly can. When they hear I soak my body in the water when it's 9 degrees outside and I'm soaking my body, they think I'm crazy. That's okay. But here's the deal. I don't want the same results everybody else is getting. I don't hope things are going to go great for me, because hope's a lousy strategy. I optimize my ability to get the most out of every single day. Thank you, Tony, because I've stolen most of this from Tony. He's been in my life for over 35 years. I think I started listening to him in 1986. I listen to him every single day. Why? Well, he's in my ear when it's dark outside and I can hear things. I've listened to some of his programs probably 200 times. No kidding. This is important because I want the same thing he has. I want what he's learned. I want a piece of everything he's been involved in his life, every seminar that he's attended, every book that he's read, every seminar that he's given, every person that he's coached, every person that's coached him. I want that lifetime of learning, and I want it in a couple of months. I want to have that in a couple of months, if not a couple of weeks. And you can have it too. And I want my clients to have it too as a coach. I bring everything I can to my calls. I bring the whole life experience, and Tony's been a huge part of that. Now, if you think about the different aspects of your life, we all have aspects of our lives that we've mastered certain ones, and there's other ones that maybe we haven't spent so much time on. Well, today is about closing that gap on those ones that we want to grow now, that we haven't spent so much time on, and it's doing it quicker, right? To understand this, we're going to talk about the 3 spheres of influence. 3 spheres of influence are yourself, your career, and your relationships. And today we're going to shine a light on your relationships, but it's really applicable to all 3 spheres. Here's a quote that you're definitely going to write down. You've heard it before, but it's definitely ink-worthy. Tony always says, repetition is the mother of skill. I've also heard him say that it's also the mother of mastery. Now, this one you definitely want to write down. We must stand guard at the door of our minds. Otherwise, weeds will grow. I'm going to repeat that one because it's very powerful. We must stand guard at the door of our minds. Otherwise, weeds will grow. Think about it for a moment. If you're health conscious, you probably focus on the diet, the food that you're putting in your body. Do you ever think about the mental diet that you're feeding yourself? This is important. Now, I want to take a little bit of a tweak to this, stand guard at the door of your mind, otherwise weeds will grow. Are you standing guard at the door of your chosen family? Are you? Think about it. Are you spending time with the people that are going to enrich your life spiritually, emotionally, financially, in all the different aspects of your life? I believe that most people are good and that they do have the best intentions. And there's a big and here, and they can also have negative influences on us. For example, say you're used to setting big goals and somebody says, why do you always set big goals up there? Why don't you just shoot for something down here and you'll feel better when you get it? Or what if you don't do that? Well, for me, I'm very conscious. I got my radar on when I'm around those people so I can block their seeds of doubt. I don't want those to take root. Now, when I speak of my chosen family, I'm talking about 2 groups. I've earned the right to be on one of the most magnificent teams in the world. It's been one of the greatest gifts I've earned for myself in my life, and I'm grateful for it every day. And that's here at RRI, and the team of coaches that I get to play with each day. And I spent considerable time here with RRI and my chosen family here, closing those gaps. We have the opportunity to train at least 4 days a week, sometimes 5. I think this week it's every day. You can even train on the weekend too. Sometimes it's 7. Now, I do my best to attend all those trainings because I've learned so much from these brilliant coaches and trainers. Now, this is the beauty of it. We all have very different backgrounds, which equals very different filters. And that equals different points of view. And the beauty of that is they've got my blind spots. I've got their blind spots. Now, how do we do this? We do this in an environment where there's no judgment, where we have very high standards. There's no bad questions, no bad answers, and there's love. We love each other enough to call it tight. We speak the truth, and we give that through our feedback model. And one of those feedback models is, if this were me, this is what I'd be doing. You notice we don't make each other wrong. So it's a very powerful thing to be able to do. I see you lighting up the chat. I appreciate it. I see some of my families on here too. I see the countries being covered. Thank you so much. So now I have a second group in my hometown here, and I meet once a month with them. It took about 5 years to get this team right, and there was some challenges with COVID, but there's a banker in this group, someone that owns a Terrazzo flooring company, another a person that's a business owner of a plumbing company. He is the owner. There's another one that's owns a food service company. There's a real estate investor, and myself. And the beauty of it is this. We've known each other for many years. We raised our children together in the same church. They went to school together. I was rubbing shoulders with these people for the last 20 years. But the beauty of it is we do all come from very different backgrounds, just like my family here at RRI. Our filters are different. It's a great cultural fit. Again, no judgment, no bad questions, no bad answers, and we have high standards. We don't settle. We just don't feel comfortable getting what everybody else wants. And we have this need to really want to grow and feed off of each other. Write this quote down. This is a really powerful quote. You want to make sure you write this big on your page. There's opportunity in seeing things differently. There's tremendous opportunity in having different points of view, seeing people are covering your blind spots. Now, there's a person that Tony is very close to who understands that human bias and that the human bias is very dangerous, and that the brain's tendency is for bias, right? It's always looking out there, making sure that my opinion's the right one, that I'm doing the right things, that I'm focused on the right things, that I'm saying the right things to myself and other people correctly. But that can cause tunnel vision. And one of our world-class coaches, Greg, if you're out there, hello, he had a great metaphor for this. He said, it's kind of like looking at the sky through a straw. Think about that. Do you even come close to getting the big picture, the whole picture? Bias can be very, very dangerous. And as we're seeing it right now in the market, everybody thought the market was going to keep going up for the next 10 years, right? What do? They jumped in when the whole crowd jumped in. Guess what happened? Down it goes. Now, I'm not here to give you market advice or anything else. I'm not qualified for that. Somebody else is, and I'm going to tell you who that is in a moment. But if you look at the history of our market, it's up and it's down even faster. And it's the whole market ever since we established the stock exchange here in the United States. You could see those patterns. So bias can be very dangerous. And the person I'm going to share with you right now who knows how dangerous it can be, his name is Ray Dalio. He's a very close friend of Tony's. He is the founder and the co-CEO of the largest hedge fund in the world, Bridgewater Associates. By the way, I believe that's 10 times larger than the next largest hedge fund in the world. He's a New York Times best-selling author, and he just crushed a podcast with Tony. And if you want to know where the market's going and you want to have a little bit more certainty in your life, I would definitely advise you check out that podcast. I think it's up. I think it's right now. I think it's active right now. So he says this, and this is where his brilliance lies. He says, every day in his firm, from the most junior to the most senior person in his firm, they ask this one question: what are we not seeing? This is very, very different than most people that invest, which is why if you look at his record, he started his company in 1975. He's always outperformed the market every year. Even if you back test his strategy, 75 years, he's outperformed the market. Now, our market right now in the United States is down 25 to 30%, depending upon what exchange you're looking at. His fund is up 32%. This man must know something. He's always looking for what are we not seeing? Now, I'm going to go into this workshop here in a moment with you, but before I do, I'm going to share a couple stories with you. It's really important that you want to take some notes because there might be some embedded messages in these stories. So years ago, Tony tells this wonderful story about he got a call from a United States Marine Corps general. And this general loves Tony. He just says, Tony, I need you to come and speak to my troops. I need you to come out here and really inspire them, Tony, to see things bigger than themselves. And Tony's like, General, I'm honored that you have such strong feelings toward what I can do for your troops. Let's get you on next year's calendar. And the general's like, no, not next year's calendar. Let's go now. And Tony's like, sir, I wish I could. I just can't. My schedule is packed. And this goes back and forth several times. And then finally, the general realizes something. Tony likes to fly helicopters. I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. So the general says, Tony, I know you like to fly helicopters. How would you like to come and fly some of our helicopters, shoot machine guns, and blow a bunch of stuff up? In short order, Tony finds himself on stage in the middle of a desert, surrounded by a bunch of Marines, thousands of Marines. And there's even a group there that's been on a survival training course. They're in full combat gear. It's 100 degrees outside. They've not had hardly anything to drink, nothing to eat for the last 3 days. And he's like, man, I've got to deliver. I really have to deliver for these folks. And of course, Tony always does. And he's on stage for about 2.5, 3 hours, and he's elevated them and he's inspired them. You notice I didn't say motivated? You might get motivated listening to Tony, but his real secret is he inspires people. He helps them find something bigger in themselves. He uncovers the layers and helps them see something bigger than themselves. They push through all their doubts, all their limiting beliefs. And he did it that day. He was really proud of the job he did. And the general, when they were debriefing, the general thanked him profusely and said, Tony, this has been absolutely fantastic. What you did for our troops and for our country today was outstanding. Thank you so much. And then the general shared a concern with him. He said, Tony, my concern is that when my Marines leave the Marine Corps and they go out there in the civilian world, though they don't maintain these high standards. And Tony thought about it. He said, well, sir, they're ordered to have high standards when they're here in active duty. But when they're out in the civilian world, they're not surrounding themselves with the people that have those same high standards. In fact, one of Tony's favorite quotes famous quotes is this. You want to write this one down because this really has a lot to do with this today. Our expectations are the sum total of the expectations of the 5 people we spend most our time with. I'm going to repeat that. Our expectations are the sum total of the expectations of the 5 people that we spend most our time with. Let that sink in now. Talking about your chosen family. Are you standing guard at the door of your chosen family? As we think about that, and hopefully you're taking some notes here, I'm going to share another story with you. Who here is familiar with the United States Navy SEALs? Drop it in the chat. I'm going to know right away if we got a SEAL in our community, right? Or we have a family member of a SEAL in our community. I'm looking here. Well, okay, so the United States Navy SEALs is made up of brilliant people. Absolutely brilliant. And they're physically capable of doing things that most of us can only dream of doing physically. And there's many teams in that community, but there's one team. There's one team that has an edge, that has an advantage, and that's SEAL Team 6. Who would like to take a guess at what their advantage is over the other teams? Go ahead and pop it into the chat. I'm looking for it. I'm going to know right away if we got a Navy SEAL in the audience because they know the answer to this one. So I'm waiting here. Right? Rebecca, I thought you were going to give it to me. You didn't give it to me. Okay. I'm not going to make you wait much longer. It's really very, very powerful. It's what gives them their edge. All the other teams in the SEAL communities, they get their orders. You're going to report to this team. This is where you go. SEAL Team 6, you are unanimously voted in. They choose each other. That's their edge. They choose each other. Think about that for a moment. Are you making the conscious choices of people that you're spending your quality time with? Are you? Maybe there's a new decision to be made, but think about that. So we're gonna start here with our worksheet in just a moment, but Tony would say this, whenever you start something new, he'd say, when is now a good time to start? It sounds like a little bit of a riddle, but when is now a good time to start? Here This is your chance right now. Waiting is not creating. This is your chance now to make something big happen in your life. And it's just my hallucination that maybe you've wanted this for a very long time and you thought, how do these other people have these connections with other people? I would love to have that. And to help you do that, we have a couple questions for you, right? About who you need to earn proximity to, and you can then provide them with value. So answer these 2 questions on your worksheet and then write down your answers. What's the outcome of having this chosen family? What's the outcome you want? Be super clear here. Clarity is power. Tony always says that. Clarity is power. The more clear you are, the greater the probability it's going to happen. Be super clear. Why or what's the outcome that you want from having this chosen family? Go ahead and take a couple seconds there to answer that. Really think about it. If you need to hydrate yourself, go ahead and hydrate yourself. What's the outcome of having that chosen family? Clarity is power. The second question here to set up this is, why does this matter? Tony always says reasons come first, answers come second. Now, whenever I'm working with someone, if they're not getting their goals, it's usually a couple things. They weren't completely focused on it. They weren't clear enough about it. And they didn't have compelling reasons. Compelling reasons are the juice, the things that push you, that even when there's bumps in the road, you keep going at it. If you think about your own life, whenever you accomplish something that was big in your life, I'll bet that you had some really, really powerful, compelling, juicy reasons why. It's the emotional juice to keep pushing you and fuel you every day, to get up early, to stay up late, to keep pushing yourself. What are some of your juicy reasons why this matters? Use strong language here. We understand that the power of language in our community, it's called transformational vocabulary. Using powerful words, they move you, they send signals to the brain to do it. This is your chance now. We're building momentum as we go into this. I want to take about another 10 seconds on these juicy reasons why this matters. You're doing fantastic. Keep it up. As we come in for a landing on that last question, we're getting ready to start our worksheet. And what do we do first? We want to make sure you're sitting up straight, that you're thinking intently here. You put yourself in a strong body posture. And as you can see from our graph that we've provided you with here on your sheet, your worksheet, we have the wheel of life. And this wheel of life may look a little bit different than ones you've done with us previously, but this is really powerful. This one's heavily leveraged for relationships. And the way this works is this. We've provided you with a 0 in the middle, and then we broke it down into tenths as you go to the outer rim. And you'll look at the first category and say, physical health and nutrition. Where are you? And the reason we're doing this is so you can measure. What you don't measure, you can't improve. We have to know where your starting is, right? We have to know where you're at. So what you'll do is this. Under physical health and nutrition, you'll say, okay, let's say you're at 70%. You take your pencil and cross from 70% across that to the other side where it's 70%, and then you'll shade that in. And this is going to give you a great optic. So you'll do that with each one of these sections. We're going to take about 4 or 5 minutes on this. They're going to throw on some great music for us as we do that. And take your time. And I'll give you a tip on this. Go with your first instinct. If your first instinct, well, I'm only at 75% on a category, write it down. Just go ahead and fill it in, shade it in all the way down to the 0 so you get the visual effects from this. Go ahead and take your time. Go ahead and do that now. You're doing great. Keep it up. Keep the energy. Make sure you've got energy in your posture. Think about those primary relationships. Who do I need to bring in my life? that I can exchange massive value with. Maybe you've overdeveloped a certain part of your life, a category of your life. A lot of people work really hard, and sometimes there's the law of familiarity. Oh, my family will always be there. They know daddy's working hard and mommy's working hard, and all of a sudden, you find out your kids are growing up, and maybe you've missed out on some things. Are there things that you need to develop more of? Is there a part of your life that you need to add more growth to? Who could be that person in your life that you can bring into your chosen family, your dream team, your tribe, whatever you want to call it? Go ahead, you're doing fantastic. Keep it up. Do you have friends in your life that fuel you, that see your best side even when you can't see it? Do they inspire you to do more, to reach out for more, to be more? Is there someone in your life that they love to learn? They're about growing all the time and they want to share it with you, but maybe you've not let them in before. Could be time to let that person in now, and you provide them value as well. Is there someone that has a strong sense of spirit and faith that you want more of? Maybe something's held you back in the past from really opening up that part of your life. Maybe today is the day for you. Today's the day for you to expand that, enrich your life, be closer to earth, or whatever it is, higher power for you, whatever it is for you, whatever that represents. Now, who is out there in your life that maybe already has that financial freedom? They're always doing the things I want to do, right? What can you do to earn proximity to them? Where are you in that category? And I believe you're here as a big part of the inner circle, this elite group of people, because you want more emotional mastery in your life too. The only thing we can control is ourselves, our emotions. And as Tony says, our emotions are our greatest resource, period. We can only influence other people at best. But is there someone in your life, as you start to think about these things, someone in your life that always seems to have it together, that doesn't overreact, that is maybe a contrarian in a way that when some people have bad tempers, this person is calm and cool? And what about you in your life? How do you rate yourself in your emotional mastery? Shade those areas in once you draw the line across. It's going to give you a powerful visual. And one of the questions I like to ask my clients once they've done this, I always ask them, if you look at that, and that was a front wheel on your car, and you were driving down the road maybe 40, 50 miles an hour, would you look like a bobblehead? Would you have any fillings left? Would your crowns have shaken off? Well, it might be a sign that there's a little bit too much imbalance in your life. That's what this is all about. Growing those areas that maybe you haven't had that much exposure, maybe you haven't had that much attention from you. Keep it up. I'm proud of you right now because we're exposing things, through vulnerability. We find out there's areas to grow in our life. That's what this whole thing is about. And today's a different day for you. Today is where it all begins anew. Today is the day where you make the decision. I'm going to start bringing those people into my life, and I'm going to exchange massive value with them. You might be thinking, well, what value do I have to give to somebody that might be a multi-millionaire and I'm not? Well, I'll tell you what the value is. You're part of this elite group. You have access to the world's best library of programs in the world. Tony's app, right? You have all those programs. You've been exposed to the best trainers in the world. We've talked about RPM and emotional mastery and creating lasting change and all these different things that you've been exposed to since you've been part of this. And there's 1,000 powerful discussions in every one of Tony's programs. You own that stuff. You have access to that. So own your own greatness. You have unbelievable value to give to people. It's time you unleash it and draw those people into your lives. And as we come in for the final few moments here, have you all had enough time to fill out your chart, your wheel? If so, give me a thumbs up. Yes. Great. We'll give you a couple more moments here. And then we're going to help you really identify these people then. I've been giving you little tidbits throughout this whole process. So now we're going to ask a couple questions here. Now that you've found that there's room for you to grow, and it's obvious, you can see it there on your chart, on your wheel of life there. By the way, I've never met anybody that's been 100% on everything. In fact, I don't know if I've ever coached anybody that's ever been 100% on anything, because that always changes. The goalposts always move. So who are the one or two people that you need to bring into your life right now and exchange massive freaking value with? You can both grow together. All three of you grow together. Hey, if you want to be a super achiever, you might already know 4 or 5. Put them down. Put their names down. Just by writing their names down, you know this, you've increased your chances of that proximity by 30%. Same thing happens with your goals. We didn't even say you had to have a plan for it. Just the fact that you're writing it down, you've increased your chances by 30%. Here's the deal. Most people don't ever write down their goals. Take pride in the fact that you're part of an elite group that writes things down, that gets things to happen for them. You all have your names written down? I'm looking at you in chat here to making sure. Excellent. All right. Now we're going to check for alignment. Oftentimes, people don't reach their goals because there's an inner conflict, something going on inside of them. And I'm going to tell you this. It really has to do with their identity. Why do I say this? Because Tony says the strongest pull in a human is to remain consistent with your identity. I'm going to say that twice now. The strongest pull in your life is remaining consistent with your identity. Here's the key. Another beautiful Tony quote. We don't get our goals. We get our identity. So the limiting factor here is if I have an identity that I don't have value to give to somebody, you're probably never going to approach them. You've stopped before you even started. So we're going to really stretch you right now. And we've got another brilliant trainer in our family here. You've heard of him. He talked about abundance. His name is Brian Baldwin. He shared a mind-blowing thing to me, a metaphor with me about 2 weeks ago. And he said, when we do a stretch, the stretch is, if you can visualize a rubber band, and I don't know if this translates around the world, but here in the States, a rubber band, we all know what a rubber band is. And when you stretch it really hard, and when you relieve that tension, it never goes back to the same shape. That's what we're doing today. It's about getting outside of your comfort zone so you can go further faster. We're stretching you right now. So here's some questions to think about when we're talking about your identity. You want to answer these and be very, very clear in your answers. What state do I need to consistently be in to make this proximity happen? Hopefully, you know what state means here. You're seeing it a little bit in my body posture. You know it with Tony, if you've been in our lives, in our family for a while. State's everything. In fact, it's going to be 80% of your proximity to these people. What state do you need to be in consistently each and every day to draw them in? Write it down. Keep it up now. You're doing fantastic. You're making progress here. We are creating irreversible momentum about never going back to what was just 15 minutes ago. The second question is, what do you need to be consistently focusing on? Wherever your focus goes, that's where the energy flows. You know this. You've been in our family long enough to know these things. Focus is power. You're focusing on what you can do, the obstacles you can break through, the joy of these new things, the excitement of having somebody new in your life. What do you need to be focusing on each day? The third question is, what do you really need to believe about yourself? That no matter what comes in front of you, I'll do it. It's just a matter of time. I'll break through. I've done it before. I'll do it again. What's your beliefs? That I set goals, and no matter what I put down on that piece of paper, I earn it? These beliefs are powerful because they're the unconscious things that guide us every single day. What are your beliefs about what you need to have about yourself so that you can earn this proximity and develop your own world-class team, your dream team, your chosen family, your tribe, whatever name you want to give it? Here's the fourth question. What's your new story? You're the author of this story now. Sometimes we take on stories because we grew up in an environment, and that environment story kind of follows on with us. It tends to be that heavy weight that we carry around. Today's your chance to write a new story, a new beginning for you, new possibilities, new dreams that go beyond anything that maybe you ever thought before. This is your chance to write that story. Don't let your pen leave that paper for the next 30 seconds. And don't judge yourself. Just go with what what your heart tells you to do. Write your own story now. Be your own author. Is your story now that I no longer listen to those people that were naysayers, those people that were trying to plant seeds of doubt in me? That you're the creator, the designer of your own life? Write your own story. Keep it up. Sit in those chairs strong. Make sure you've got strong posture here. It's going to serve you well. And as we come into the final approach to this exercise, this workshop today, I'm going to drop a very powerful quote for you. And it was written all the way back in the 15th century by a Swiss philosopher, Paracelsus. And he said this: as a man imagines himself to be, so shall he be. And he is which he imagines. I'll repeat that for you. As a man imagines himself to be, so shall he be. And he is which he imagines. Your mind does not know the difference between something you imagine with great emotional intensity and something that's actually happened. It's a fact. See, when you close your eyes and you rehearse something, your brain's no longer a record of the past. It's now a path to the future. You've installed the circuits. You've laid the tracks, right? You're actually creating a signature in your neurology. It actually, new neural pathways have been developed. And we know from being in Tony's world that this lights up your RAS, your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that determines what you notice. And it opens up to all the possibilities that maybe because you had a bit of tunnel vision you weren't seeing. Now your brain is wiring, firing as you do this. So I'm going to take you through an immensely powerful exercise to really lock this in. We're going to anchor in all the work that you've done today, that new story, those new beliefs, those things that you need to be focused on, that state that you need to be in. We're going to lock it in now. So sit or stand, but put yourself in a resourceful state. Close your eyes, put your hands on your heart, and take 3 deep breaths with me. We're going to breathe in through our nose and out through our mouths. Nice, deep, full lung breaths in. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel how good that feels. Breathe in and out. One last time. Breathe in and now out. With your eyes closed through this whole process, all those things that you put down on the paper today, see it as done. See it with great imagery that it's done. Bring it in close to you. Make it big, as if you're sitting in the front row seat at a movie theater. It's that big. Bring in really vivid colors. Maybe there's powerful music, that your music, whatever that is for you, bring that in and feel that right now. See yourself as you stand there in confidence that you've done this. You've done this. You feel that in your body. How strong do you feel in your body knowing that you created something new? You broke through some limiting beliefs. There's a new you now. There's a new part of you that's ready for growth and loves the challenges. Feel the strength in your body right now. Feel it. It's done. It's done. Feel that in your body. We're going to go layers deep with each question I ask you, because we don't play at the surface very well either. We go layers deep here. What does this mean to you now that you've done this? What's the meaning? There's something bigger involved in this. Does it mean that there's things that I never dreamed of that I can do now? There's people in my life that maybe I never even thought about reaching out to. What does this mean to you? What's the overall meaning for you? Feel that in your body too. You're doing fantastic. Keep it up. Now layers deep, even deeper now. Who have you become as a result of this? Who have you become? Because you reached outside your comfort zone today. You put a stretch involved in who's going to be in your life. You decided to spill your heart out on those pages, on that worksheet today. You've decided that today is a different day. Waiting is not creating. It's a new beginning for me. I am going to create that family that I've always wanted. I'm going to bring those people in my life and we're going to exchange massive value. Who have you become as a result of that? Feel how good that is in you. What's the bigger meaning behind all of this? And are you a person now that you write down a goal and no matter what, it's on its way? Are you a person that gives unbelievable value to other people in life? That you are the person everybody else wants proximity to? What's your belief? Who have you become? Feel that. Now I'm going straight for your heart on this next question. Who else is important in your life that this is going to affect? And see their faces right now as they look at you. Are they smiling? Are there expressions of gratitude because the impact you've created in their life, what you showed them they can do, that maybe they never even thought about, they thought was impossible? Look at their faces. Look at their faces right now. Who else is important in your life that this is going to affect? Because it's going to affect them in a big, powerful way. Now, see the impact of this. See the impact of what you've created today. Take it 6 months down the road. What's the ripple effect that you've caused in not only your life, but in the lives of all those people that your life touches? And sometimes maybe it's just somebody that sees you from a distance. Think about the impact that you've created, the things that are now possible for all those people, including yourself. Feel the pride in your body that you decided to do something new today. Maybe you ditched an old bullshit belief. Maybe you created a new identity here, one that is limitless now for all your dreams. You've maybe created the life that you've always desired. And see that impact 12 months down the road. How big are those ripple effects now? You're locking this in. You're doing an outstanding job. Just sit with that for a moment. Feel that in your heart. How proud you are of yourself. And feel the power of your heart. The beauty that your heart has led you to do. And the truth now that comes from your heart. Every time there's a challenge, how do you speak with it? How do you address it? And feel that right now. And in a moment, I'm going to count down from 3 to 1. And when we do, If you can stand up, we're all going to stand up. We're going to celebrate like we've not celebrated maybe in the last 20 years. We're going to celebrate and lock this in. So get ready as you feel this building in you right now. Get ready. You're feeling it building in you. The energy is building in you. I'm going to go from 3 to 1. And when I get down to 1, we're all up together. We're a family now. You're in our family. We're going to celebrate together and lock this in. Get ready. Get ready. 3. 3. 3. It's building in you right now. 3. 3. 3. 2. 2. 2. 2. It's once to come out. You gotta wait. 2, 2, 2, 2, 1. Get up and celebrate. Lock it in. Lock it in. You created something new for yourself today. Maybe there's a new identity. All the limiting beliefs are gone. Lock it in. Lock it in. Celebrate. Celebrate. You're doing fantastic. Great job. Great job. Give yourselves a big round of applause. You did fantastic today. Something you've never had, you've got to be willing to do something you've never done, and hopefully today you've reached new boundless and unlimited boundaries for yourself. To take this deeper, to make your commitment, finish your worksheet, and create your chosen family, your dream team, your tribe. Share your celebrations, your wins, your distinctions on the Inner Circle Facebook page at Chosen Family. And here's one other thing. I'm going to be back on August 25th. Mark your calendars for 12 PST, 3 EST. With that being said, God bless you all. I'm proud of you. Thank you for playing full out. I'm out. Bye, all.